Morning and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to this very special program on the 13th day of April. Hey, apologies for the bit of a late start due to some technical difficulties. We're having this show instead of 9 today at 10. Well, right now, let's get on with the news and see what's happening out there in the world. First of all, news in brief.
On WA's northwest coast and inland areas are making final preparations for tropical cyclone Ilsa, which is expected to strengthen to Category 4 before making landfall in the next 24 hours. A yellow alert has been issued along the Pilbara coast for people in the direct firing line, with tourists and residents at sites along 80 Mile Beach warned to move to safety. The Bureau is warning the storm could cross the coast with destructive winds and gusts of up to 275 kilometres an hour, while heavy rain and abnormally high tides are also expected.
3 aged care homes in Sydney will close within weeks, with hundreds of residents forced to find a new place to live. Wesley Mission has announced it will shut its remaining locations at Sylvania, Carlingford and Narrabeen, citing workforce challenges and the impacts of national reforms to aged care. It says it will do all it can to assist residents and staff to relocate.
A 3-year-old girl is in hospital after a dog attack on the Gold Coast, the second in Queensland this week. The girl was treated with bites to her head and neck and was taken to Queensland's Children's Hospital in Brisbane in a serious condition. Authorities have seized several dogs from the property.
Buckingham Palace has confirmed Prince Harry will attend the coronation of his father, King Charles III, next month without his wife. Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex, will remain in California with their children, Prince Archie and Princess Lilibet.
So there you are, the update, and Prince Henry will attend minus the Sussex or Sussex. Well, we do have things like that, a bit of a slip out of a tongue here and there. But, it's good. See, this will be once in a century event. And of course, I know there's so many functions and events being organised right here in Australia and in Brisbane as well. So, we're looking forward to, that momentous occasion in this century. Well, ladies and gentlemen, right now, let's take a look at that news in a little bit more detail about Prince Henry and his attendance at the coronation.
Steve, good morning. Prince Harry will be attending, but Meghan won't be.
That's right, Michael. This was confirmed by a statement from Buckingham Palace that Harry would be coming, Meghan would be staying. Meghan's staying with her two children in California on May the 6th. Now, there's been speculation about this issue for weeks, whether Harry and Meghan would attend or not. And a lot of that speculation came off the back of revelations in the media just over a month ago that they had received some kind of email asking about their attendance. Since that time, there's been a lot of speculation. Now we know the result of what that is. Meghan has said that one of the reasons that she's staying is that she wants to spend time with Archie, who turns 4. Her son turns 4 on the day of coronation on May the 6th. Now, of course, since the release of Harry's book and that Netflix series, there has been a fair bit of tension between Harry and his father and Harry and his brother. We're still not sure what role Harry might play at the actual coronation, because in 2020 he walked away from royal duties. He kept his title, of course, but he walked away from those duties, and so we're not sure if he'll play any official role in that ceremony or not. We don't know if he'll be, in the procession or whether he'll be on the balcony afterwards. We'll have to wait and see. Probably we'll find out a little bit more about that in the coming weeks, but he will be there. He will join over 2,000 others in Westminster Abbey on May the 6th when Charles III officially has his coronation.
Steve, thank you.
So that's the much talked about attendance. Yes, he will be attending minus Meghan. Well, the ties between China and Australia, is it getting closer? Are we getting more cordial? What is happening? A Chinese senior official visits Canberra.
A quiet entrance. China's top foreign affairs official Ma Jiaoshu arrives with little fanfare for talks in Canberra.
We want a relationship with China where we both make wise choices which safeguard and protect our national interests.
Both sides have a long list of disagreements to work through, but also hope that resolving trade disputes might help rebuild trust. And after yesterday's temporary truce over Beijing's barley tariffs, Australian wine producers, also blocked from China, are hoping for a breakthrough.
I hope the barley process provides us a template that we can follow and work through to try and reach some resolution on opening this market back up.
But compromise has costs, and some worry Australia's decision to suspend its World Trade Organisation barley appeal lets China off the hook.
Dialogue and engagement is very positive. We all want to see the trade restrictions removed and fair trade to resume. The problem is Australia has faced years of economic coercion, so there should be consequences for such behaviour.
And the Foreign Minister acknowledges the protracted disagreements have permanently changed the trade relationship.
So what does that mean? It means Australian producers, whether of barley or wine, are going to have to look to diversify markets.
The Australian government is giving away very little on these talks. In a brief statement, the Department of Foreign Affairs says officials also discussed Australians imprisoned in China, as well as human rights, strategic competition, and Russia's invasion of Ukraine. It's a revealing list. Australia and China may well be talking again, but they agree on very little.
So they agree to disagree on many points, so they agree on very little at this point in time. And China, of course, always is standing its ground. Well, right now, let's go to this incident that happened in the SeaWorld, the helicopters that crashed. Now the family of the girl who was killed are asking for tighter regulations. And this happens every time an incident like this happens, even though it's a freak accident. But, could it be saved? Could it, or should we just impose a penalty and bring on regulations or new rules that now will affect everyone?
The parents of Amber Miller say questions remain unanswered.
I still lay awake at night hearing the sound I heard. It was like a lightning bolt in my ear, a crack.
That sound was the tail breaking on a Robinson R-44 helicopter moments after taking off in July 2020. Amber's mother watched it plunge from the sky, trapping her daughter.
There was fuel gushing out over Amber, and a few people told me to stand back, and I hadn't got Amber out yet, and I refused.
The 12-year-old couldn't be saved, and pilot and owner of the aircraft, Troy Thomas, also died, while 2 other passengers were injured. Fiona says no mother should witness such a tragedy.
Especially one that we strongly believe was highly preventable.
Almost 3 years later, ATSB findings have revealed the aircraft was showing unusual vibrations during flights earlier that week. Engineers checking on the ground couldn't detect the problem, but the ATSB found the chopper shouldn't have been flown again until after a careful test flight by a solo pilot, not a joyride with 3 passengers. Paperwork required for well-known Kimberley tourism operator Troy Thomas to fly was also expired, and the pilot had been involved in previous incidents.
Why weren't we told there was a significant issue with the helicopter? Who was responsible? Could this fatal scenario happen again?
WA Police and WorkSafe will also consider the findings. Meanwhile, the parents have met the Tourism Minister to raise concerns about the industry. James Carmody, ABC News.
So there you are, up to date on Australian Indian Radio. Well, ladies and gentlemen, right now it's time to look at some of the functions and events taking place. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's about all we have time for you today in this segment. In the late edition of our daily news update, still no news from our daily India report. Still having a bit of an issue there. We will be, letting you know as soon as we are able to resume that. But for now, it's been wonderful to have your company today. Until tomorrow, it's goodbye from us.